Hi, beautiful people. I hope I'm in the academy. I'll recognize if you guys are. Okay, so I'm going to do a really casual training, but it's going to be pretty awesome. And it's something that I had channeled doing a psychic reading for a client of mine. I'm calling this the Glowstick theory. Because when this came through in the reading, I was like, wow, this makes so much sense. And then I had a previous experience as well that totally coincided with that. So really excited to share that with you guys. I had done a poll in this group. Hey, Shari. Hey, everybody's hopping on here. I had done a poll in this group about, are you guys feeling exhausted? Because I have so many tools that I use in my practice, and I've really been pulling and pulling from a lot of these. I don't know if I'm in the academy. So if I'm not, I've been doing this on my personal page. Guess what? I've got 3,000 friends that I'm going live in front of right now. That's okay, because this training is for you guys too. So hey, everyone who's hopping on. So this Glowstick theory, as I had mentioned, so I done a poll in the academy, and I was like, how many of you guys are feeling really exhausted, overwhelmed, excited, extra confident? We just had a list of emotions, and I think we had like 19 people who voted, and that was the winner of feeling really exhausted. And I was like, that's super interesting, because even with all the tools that I've been using, you know, with meditation and crystal healing and just getting enough sleep and eating healthy, etc., even with all of those things, I'm like, I'm feeling super tired. My nutrition's on point, my supplements are on point, my family is really balanced, my business is good. You know, my prayers, I've been really clear in my prayers too for that healing. I'm like, why am I feeling so exhausted? And if I'm feeling this way, how can other people be feeling? So this is what I'm revealing in this video, because it's super duper important for us to see it this way. This is why we are so exhausted, and how do we release it? So that's what we're going to be going over. What is the Glowstick theory? Why do we have, what is that we're picking up on globally? How is that being stored within our system? And then most importantly, how do we release that? So I'm going to go kind of fast here because I want to give this information to you. If you guys have more questions, then you can drop in the comments. By the way, give me a hello. I want to know that you guys are here. I see you. Hey, hey, hey. But you guys are on a small little stand, so it's going to shake it. Anyways, okay, so what came through in the reading with my client, the Glowstick theory? Basically what I was realizing is the one thing that I wasn't doing, right? Nutrition is on point, supplements are on point, I'm sleeping, I have amazing, you know, my family dynamics, my business, everything is good. Why am I feeling so exhausted? The thing I realized that I wasn't doing, and I know a lot of people aren't doing, is, hey Claire, is movement. A lot of us are on our phones and we're getting the notifications from the RGJ or from whatever magazine that you guys have, or apps, Channel 2 News is popping up about the coronavirus and this and X, Y, and Z and this notification and now blah, blah, blah. And what I was finding is I usually live in my own little world of peace and bliss and information that I want to know to the world is collapsing and like all these people are dying. And so what's happening is as I'm holding onto my phone, all of this worry and anxiety and stress starts to pool within my body. So I'm sitting at my computer, or I'm sitting on my phone and I'm absorbing all of this energy, the fear, the anxiety, the panic. And I'm not like out walking around and having conversations about it, but rather I'm sitting still. I'll be in my bed and then I'll go through all my notifications first thing when I wake up in the morning, or when I go to bed, or throughout the day, and check in with how people are doing. And here's what I found when I channeled this for myself is like that energy, those are emotions. Like when you're reading those things, it creates some sort of like emotion for you. Maybe it's panic, maybe it's fear, maybe it's anxiety. You know, for a lot of us, it's anxiety of like what's going to happen. We're uncertain at this time. And so I'm finding this going into, for my own body, going into the nooks and crannies of like my spine, my vertebrae. I literally saw, this is, so you guys know, I specialize in releasing the trapped energy in our space. And I realized that I was seeing like this dark charcoal energy in between my vertebrae and in between like my elbows and my joints, that popping, everything. I saw all of that trapped energy just pooling within my joints in those spaces. And then I wasn't moving. I'm not like dropping my daughter off at regular preschool and like talking with people and like really creating this movement to set that trapped energy and those emotions free. But rather it's just becoming stagnant, this dark charcoal energy within my space, and there's no way to release it. It's just calcifying. And over the past couple of weeks, that's what I've been feeling, is this really interesting calcification in my bones and joints where I'm like, why am I so stiff? Why do I feel so rigid? Nate says, I totally feel like this is me, why I had chronic fatigue for so long. It makes so much sense because any dis-ease that we have in the body, eventually, if it comes into the auric space, we're gonna feel it, right? But if that dis-ease manifests physically within our tissues, meaning we can feel it, then it creates disease. Okay, so an example of this is like heartbreak. I talk about this all the time. If you've ever had like a heartbreak and you feel that pain in your chest and you're like, oh, it's an intangible emotion that cannot hurt you physically, but it will manifest physically in your tissues and it has a physical response. Same thing if you get nervous, right? Like you feel it in your intestines, like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, I have to throw up, because intangible emotion, worry, fear, judgment, whatever, will manifest physically within your tissues. So now imagine what we're picking up on globally with this like pandemic. There's a lot of fear, and if we're not actively like going for a run, taking it out on a punching bag, crying, there's so many tools. I'm gonna be coming up with this very soon of like 100 ways to release trapped energy and the top 10 ways to realize that you have it in your space. So I'm gonna have a course on this very soon. So if you guys are interested, please let me know because I'll keep you on the wait list when it's created. So I saw all of this energy where usually I would have these outlets to go for a walk or to go to my daughter's preschool or to pick up lunch or something, where I would be moving and letting this trapped energy and this fear and anxiety just flow. But right now it's not. And so it's becoming trapped within my spine, within my bones. And again, I was noticing this calcification. So anyways, that's a long explanation for what that is. And going back to the glow stick theories, if you imagine a glow stick, okay, this is a glow stick, and it's stiff and it's rigid and it has maybe some rounded corners, and this is how we're living our life. Like that trapped energy is becoming calcified in these areas, but what we really need to do is snap that glow stick open to get the energy flowing again. And amazing practitioner, holistic health practitioner, Angela Perry, who she has helped me in so many different ways. She, when I was feeling this way before, there's another time in my life when I was feeling this density. And when I did a bow spring, it's kind of like a workout similar to yoga, but it's also very different. I know that some of you guys on here really know about that, especially Nate. So I was doing bow spring, and then by the end of that bow spring session, I was like, wow, I feel amazing. Like I feel like my circulation is going again. Like my skin feels better. The thoughts that I'm thinking as I look in the mirror. And she's like, yeah, because beauty is flow. So when you have stagnant energy in your space, you're gonna feel like Carrie was saying here. She's like, I have a shortness in my breath right now. Yeah, exactly. It's like a calcification because all of that fear is like right here. And also the fear of like what this virus does to our body is a whole other reason why it's like manifesting in that way. I get it because I've been doing the same thing. So what we have to do is snap that glow stick so we're getting the energy circulating again. So here is when I started to realize this, and I started to psychically be able to pick up on these dense energies that was already being stored in my body. I was like, what can I do? I don't have any energy to go for a run or to do a workout, but what I can do is yoga. So I went to one of my favorite sites, YouTube and Boho Beautiful. If you go into the Academy, you're gonna see that I've dropped some of those links below or in the posts because I love them. They're easy, they're awesome, and all over the world. And it's like a tropical adventure every time. And so when I did that yoga video, you guys, I'm not very good at yoga. I used to be, but now I'm totally not, and I don't know what all of the postures are and the poses, and I'm super awkward, which is why you're not gonna see me on video for a while till I get better at it. But what started to happen is when I did that yoga video, afterwards, I didn't even get through the whole thing. It was 17 minutes. I got through it, but I didn't even do all of the poses because some of them I just like, oh, I don't know what that is. But I did my best. That's the point. But afterwards, I was shaking. If you guys have done any really deep meditations or have a spiritual practice, then you'll probably recognize this as being Kundalini energy, but it's also like that cracking of the glow stick. I was feeling so stiff and so rigid, and I feel like I know so much about this virus that I was just in this panic, this solid space, and I finally just went like and cracked it, and I felt like the life and the flow and the energy was just moving through me again to the point where I was shaking. Now you guys know I'm a psychic life coach. That's what I do for a living for female entrepreneurs, is really using my gifts to help women grow their business, clear their mind, their blocks, and their throughout. So I'm not pitching myself right here. I really want to offer this training to you guys about these blocks. And so it wasn't until I saw that attention of like, oh, this is why I've been feeling so exhausted. I need to move. I need to break this up, these calcifications in my body. And so once I did, I got this like jittery feeling. And it's something that happens as a psychic when I'm doing certain readings, especially if it really resonates, I'll get those shakes. So I was aware of what this was. So I I'm sharing all of this because number one, that is the glow stick theory. And so if you guys are feeling really exhausted and you're like, I don't know why, I feel like I'm doing everything I possibly can, you probably just need to snap your own glow stick. You probably need to find some flow. So here are some ideas. I'll talk about ways to release it. Is number one, movement. Movement is so important. So whether that's doing yoga, I'm like, I can do a 12-minute, 17-minute yoga video one time a day. I can do that. I can commit to it. Even if I look goofy and I keep falling over and I get really frustrated, I'm going to release and listen to her sweet voice. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's doing a beach body workout in your living room. Maybe it's just doing an at-home workout where you just do a couple of like push-ups and sit-ups and maybe some light stretching, whatever that is, but you want to have that flow in your body. Maybe you look up Bowspring. Nate, if you're still on here, drop a link to Bowspring because he's like an expert at it. He's fantastic, and it's another alternative to yoga that has fantastic results. And it's really about like activating the energy in your body. I really love that. So move your body in some way. The other thing that you can do is, you guys are on my phone, but say this is the phone. When we're listening to the stuff and we're watching it, all of that tension and anxiety is going right up your wrists. You guys might notice a little bit more tension right here in your wrists. So wring that out. Find a window, find some water or something, and I want you to physically wring your hands out. I've had to do this, soak my stuff in salt, just really briefly, don't want to like tarnish or wring, but intentionally start up here and just wring it out. Get it out of your body to get that circulation. You can also do some self-massage, right? Because it's getting stuck in those areas. Massage your scalp. Massage your scalp, massage your shoulders, massage around your elbows, because we want to release that trapped energy that's in our space. And Carrie says, yes, I just came back from a walk and it's still there. It's really crazy. Even my own tools, I'm like, this is weird. Why isn't it like working? But I realize we have to be in motion. And maybe it's not just going for a walk. Maybe it's doing something that's going to stretch you a little bit more. That's going to put you into a deeper pose. That feels so good. Are you guys massaging yourself? Please massage yourself right now because it feels really good. And your body totally needs it because we're like stressed. We're going like this as we're reading everything. So number one way to release is have some form of movement. And that was the biggest thing for me because that's the one thing that I wasn't doing that I needed to implement. And I was like, wow, this feels amazing. Now I want to go for a run. Like it just kind of got the ball rolling. And number two is nutrition. It is so important right now that you guys are flushing with as much water as you possibly can. Filtered water, of course. Just drink all that you can because that's how we flush water out. That's why after you get a massage or after you do an energy work, any energy work of whatever kind, is you want to drink water to flush out those toxins. So right now, if we're doing that physically, energetically, mentally, drink water because your body physically stores those toxins. And even if they're not physical, there's like an energetic piece and that water will really clean it out. I don't usually drink water plain. I'll do like an energy fizzy stick because they have like B vitamins, or you can use strawberries or blueberries. Right now I have my lime water, and this is probably like my third or fourth one that I'm on today, and it's only 4 o'clock. So drink a ton of water. It's super important. Eat life force energy foods. You guys know I'm all about nutrition, and we want to eat life force energy foods to really support our body right now. Not things that are dead, not things that come from a box, but things that are powered by the sun, that are powered by the nutrient dense soil. That is what we want to consume, because then we consume that life force energy and it becomes a part of our cells. It really ignites and lights them up to support our body and our activating our healing potential. And also to kick out those toxins, to kick out the fear and the anxiety and the stress, because darkness cannot live in the light. So let's fill our body with that high voltage and that high energy foods. And then number 3 is definitely going to be meditation. I do have the releasing meditation that I will, if you guys are interested in that, rather than dropping it below, hop into my DMs and I would love to share that releasing meditation for you. It's one that I have pre-recorded, and it's a 14-minute meditation to really help you do a body scan and release the trapped energies in your space. So imagine if you partner that with drinking a lot of water, eating your life force energy foods, as well as movement with your body, and then you're doing the meditation, you're going to feel so much better and so much lighter. Another thing that I'm going to add to this, if you are a female, this is something that I have realized. I track my productivity with my cycle, and so like, if you guys are a guy, you're just gonna get used to this, but as a woman, like when we are ovulating, we are at our prime. We just like, we're glowing, we have more energy, we have more focus, all of those things. And so if you're like me, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? What is off? Is I realize like I'm about to start my cycle. And so like 3 days up until like 3 to 5 days like on my way to my cycle, I get so exhausted. So that's another thing too, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give myself grace. I'm not gonna be mad at myself. I'm gonna be like, I checked off every box. Why aren't you working? I'm just gonna say hello and honor. This is part of my body's natural cycle. So that's something else I'd like to offer up to you. Shari says, Ashley, you are amazing. Thanks for this great video. Needed the reminders. I love you so much, Shari. Thank you for being on here. And so one other thing that I want to mention is, what does it mean to be a wet towel empath? Totally made this up in the video I did today because like that is how I was feeling. Here's another thing for you guys to be aware of and to really honor within yourself, is that this is the first time that everybody around the world is experiencing the same thing. And it doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor or your ethnicity or whatever it is, like it's an even playing field with this. So what happens if you're an empath, which many of you guys are, that means that we can easily tap into the subtle energies of other people. Claire says, heading towards ovulation. I'm like, just get me there. Oh my gosh, girl, you get it. You guys have questions about like tracking productivity with your cycle, like that is my success because I work within those cycles. Happy to chat about that. And so being a wet towel empath, what I found for myself is I hold space for like thousands of people every day. Like social media is like what I love, and I'm so honored to do that. But what happened is when my energy, my stress and anxiety levels went like do-do-do-do-do-do, I was like kind of starting to drown a little bit, but maintaining, like still showing up on all these platforms, to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm overloaded. And I felt like as an empath, like a wet towel. Nobody wants a wet towel. It's like, and like I felt like I was drenched and soaked in everybody else's energy, and I didn't have any room for my own, and that just kind of flatlined me for a quick couple of days. And so if you are feeling like a wet towel empath, right, and maybe it's by accident, I am seasoned in this and it still happened. What would it look like to like wring out other people's energy? Raven and I today in our Thought Leader Thursday, we talked about the masculine and the feminine energy, and the feminine energy is really about receiving, right? Holding space for other people, praying for other people. You know, how can I support you? I'm so sad that this person lost their job. Like, how can I support them? We're really receiving, but what happens, you can be a little bit overwhelmed. And if you're feeling that way, definitely use the tools that we have shared. Just honoring, that's the feminine, and the masculine is also setting healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries of like, when are you going to be looking online for the information updates about the virus? Who are you going to be able to talk to during this time? I have so many friends that I want to reach out to, be like, how are you doing? How are you doing? But I was like, I don't have the mental capacity to do that, because I wouldn't even be able to respond, because I have to get my energy together. And so understand that that's a great thing. It's a healthy thing to set healthy boundaries. And again, blending the masculine and the feminine. So if you're feeling like that wet towel empath, where you're taking on everybody's energy and you're just like, it's gonna mold. That is going to mold if you don't bring it out and you're so fresh. So take this time for self-care. Utilize these 3 tools to release the trapped energies in your space. Again, make sure that you're moving, really pay attention to your nutrition, flushing out the toxic energies, and then the meditation, the releasing meditation as well is going to be so crucial. One of the things, I'm going to be doing more trainings for you guys, but one of the things that I'm going to be doing daily that I'm like, okay, it starts with micro shifts. So definitely I'm going to be doing some form of movement every single day outside of just walking around the house. And so that's going to be one yoga video via Boho Beautiful Yoga. You can check it out on YouTube. And the other thing is doing a body scan every single day before I go to bed. The body scan is basically, it's what I have in the releasing meditation. So if you guys want to go through that, you can do a shorter version of it yourself once you get really used to it. But it's incredibly helpful to release those trapped energies that are being like these little crunchies that are starting to manifest within our tissues. Okay, how are we out on time? I love you guys so much. I hope you're having an amazing day full of all the amazing things. I'm going to begin my self-care practice and go to bed early and drink my water, all the things, because I am totally in it with you guys, and wishing you an amazing day full of amazing things. Chat soon.